Welcome back everybody to the association. In today's video we're going to be talking all things light sources, how they work, how we think they might work, how we set them up, how to get a good looking render when we're running the photo rendering. So let's get into it. I'll try not to ramble on, but you know it is a tutorial, right? So but we will try not to rattle on. So anyway, I'm going to open up the side menu here in just a moment, and we're going to go to our light sources. If you use Sweet Home, you're familiar with this. There are icons that are represented by light bulbs. As a new user, it's kind of misleading. We think that maybe we can take that light bulb and it will do what we want it to do when we run the photo rendering. We just put it up in the chandelier that we're using here, our example, and it's going to work automatically, but that's not going to happen. So we'll show you how to, it's the same formula, so no matter if we're using the example here, we're going to be using some other examples here in a moment. It doesn't matter, the examples, the formula, is going to be the same. So the first step in getting there to get a nice render is you need to know the piece that you're working with. So we're working on a 20 style Gasolier that, these days they convert to just straight electric because gas is not permitted anymore as far as chandeliers go. So we're going to be working with the bottom and most exclusively the top. Most of the things that we'll be discussing today will be with the top. We will set up the bottom, but it's going to be a 45-degree angle. So if you're a beginner, a newbie to Sweet Home 3D, wouldn't recommend it, just because we want to work with things that are they're vertical, right? So lamps, ceiling lamps, sconces, you name it. As long as they're vertical, you're just going around in a circle. That makes it easier for a beginner. So if you're a veteran of Sweet Home, you've been doing this for 5-10 years, have at it. But anyway, let's go ahead and hop into this. So again, we got to know this Gasolier probably too well, but we know it's going to take incandescent lights. So we're going to go ahead and set that up here. And we're going to go into the menu. As soon as we set our height up here, then we will grab a incandescent bulb and we will start there. So again, getting back to the formula is just saying what we want to do is illuminate the things that we'd like to illuminate. And once we do that, we're going to go into our side menu. We're going to highlight them and Control Shift and G, and that's going to group them. So that means when we do the next one, we don't have to start all over and set down lay the light sources down all over again for each one. We're just going to Control C, Control V, copy and paste, and set up the next side. Once we're happy with the way this looks in the photo rendering, then we can group. We can Control C, Control V, copy paste, and put it to the next arm of the chandelier. So again, we're going to illuminate the light bulb. That's one. We're going to need to illuminate the frosted white shade. That's two. And we're going to need to illuminate the immediate area around the chandelier as well. So those are three things that we need to illuminate. So let's do this. So we have the light source here, and what we want to do is get in close proximity to the object that we'd like to illuminate. And in this case, again, it's the incandescent or it's the light bulb. Okay, so we're going to go all the way around. We're going to overlap as we do this, as we lay this down. Again, normally you would be going in a circle. We have to adjust and elevate each light source. So again, I would not recommend this for a beginner. But the formula is going to be, the same. We're going to go around and encompass the light source or the light bulb. So we're going to cut around. We're going to, cut forward here because we're not going to show this whole thing because would be boring. But as you can see, there it is. They're all overlapped. Some of them are kind of sticking out a little bit, but the light sources are pretty forgiving for stuff like that. So anyway, we're going to run a photo render. We want to see what this looks like, and if we're happy with it, we'll group those light sources and we'll move on. So there we go. So as you can see here, there's a little bit of dead space, dark space underneath the light bulb. So it means two things. Either one, we've clipped, or number two, we need another light source there. And that will, smooth everything out. You won't have any dark spots underneath the light, underneath that light bulb. So we'll go back to the application here. We'll add another light source there. I'm just trying to look to see if we clipped with the first one. It's really hard to tell, but anyway, this is another thing we want to work with here. Now we're going to group these because we're happy with it. So again, we're going to go to the side menu there, and we're going to highlight those. Just click on them, hold Control, I believe, and then Control Shift G, and then we can copy paste. And that's what we've done here. We've copy paste, so we didn't have to do that thing all over again. And that looks fantastic. That looks great. So now we can move on to the next thing that we'd like to illuminate, which is the white frosted globes or shades encompassing the light bulb here. So let's do that. Same formula. We're going to overlap and go all the way around, and then we'll do the same with the tops too, because the top is the main focal point of this video. Because again, this is more of an advance because we're going on a 45-degree angle. Again, I'm going to group these. I have them all highlighted here. I'm going to hit Control Shift, I believe. Yeah, Control Shift and G. It's like riding a bike. Right? Control Shift and G, and you can group them. And once you group them, you can copy and paste. Now, in regards to, I'm going to run a photo render here, but in regards to the percentages don't equal wattages. So it's not like, okay, I'd like the bulb to be 75 watts. I'm going to set the percentage to 75. No, you want to keep it low and then build up. So start at 2 or 3 and build up. As you can see here, that doesn't look too bad. We do have to work on it, but that's something we'll do off camera, because again, that's not really part of the tutorial, because we're, again, for the third time, we're on a 45-degree angle. So there's a lot to unpack though with the top. A couple things are wrong here. Number one, there's some clipping going on there. You see the little dots at the top on the top tier of the chandelier. Second problem is that the group set is too high on each arm of the chandelier. So we need to lower that group set down a little bit. And number three is that it's too dim. So we need to bring the brightness up a little bit. Okay, we're not trying to brighten the room, we're just trying to brighten the shade, because we'll do the room in a moment. Let's go back into the application and fix that stuff. So we want to ungroup, which is Control Shift and U, and that'll ungroup it, because you can't change the brightness until you ungroup. Now I'm going to do that in a second. When we want to highlight this, we want to go to the side menu to highlight it. And then once we do that, we can use the tabs here. Okay, but we really never want to go here and then click on it, because you could move it by accident and then you wouldn't be happy. So we don't want you to be unhappy. So now I'm going to go ahead and lower the elevation. And it goes without saying, you do one for this one, you have to do it for the other ones. All right, it goes without saying, but because it is a tutorial, we have to say that. So, okay, so now that I'm happy with that, I'm gonna, off camera, Control Shift and U, I'm gonna ungroup so I can change the brightness right here. And of course I did that on camera. See, I contradict myself all the time. It's fine now, it's fine. Okay, so now that that's done, I'm gonna Control Shift G and regroup that. Now I've ungrouped this on purpose to show you, if you do this, they should all be highlighted, and they're not. So I'm going to Control Z, or just right click on the top, on the top down part, and then hit the undo tool. That is a tongue twister and a half. I'm not going to say that again, sorry. And you can undo it, and then you Control Shift and G, you can regroup it. So if you make a boo-boo, you can always undo and try to fix it. Again, this is just a guide. This is not an end-all be-all. But as you can see there's the tops. They look better. They're very slightly overexposed or oversaturated. So we're not looking for that. We still want to see a little bit of the model there. We want to see that frosted white shade. So I think in the next clip, maybe we fix that. So that's a little bit better. That's a little bit better. Again, there's a lot we have to do between that. It takes time. Okay? It's not willy-nilly. If you're looking for willy-nilly, that's what you're going to get. This is not the video for willy-nilly here. So, just so you know. this does take time. When you're doing the photo rendering, you can go do chores or laundry or something like that and come back to it, because the photo rendering takes the time. We have our resolution up pretty high, but the computer does it pretty quickly. We got our new PC that was back ordered, but we got it. So we can now move around the house a little freelier. Freelier? That's not a word. A lot more freely than we were. If you look at that Queen Anne Victorian tour video, you can see we're moving around like 10 FPS. It was terrible. Anyway, so I'm going to shut up and we're going to go through the whole stages here, what we just did. And as you can see there, that's not bad. Again, we need to work on the bottom tier. Okay, kind of like that. The one's dim and the one isn't. I don't know, kind of neat. Kind of shows its age. Anyway, let's move along to another example. So this is over in the den. You can see we have 2 tiers of ceiling lamp, and 2 tiers of light sources to highlight the ceiling lamp. And this is the stages right here. Now, I'm gonna talk through this because we're dealing with stained glass, which is gorgeous. This is gorgeous here. Cannot wait to do a showcase for this house. But stained glass doesn't emit the same amount of light because it's not frosty white, right? Doesn't have that frosty white shade on it that most lamps, overhead lamps, would have. So just have to bear that in mind. So, but that looks gorgeous. That's awesome. That's the family room, basically, is what that is. So, moving on to the lamps, same formula. We're going to go around. If it's a taller shade, you may need 2 tiers, but you have to overlap them, top and bottom. So, there it is on the 2D, and here it is on the 3D rendered. Now, you saw the spaces there when we were trying to do the light on the perimeter. We spaced them, and we shouldn't have done that, so we did fix that. And this looks awesome. This is our Project 338. That video is up, so if you want to check it out, sure thing. But that's going to conclude the video. Hope that helps you. Again, it's just kind of some guide rails, and if you use that formula, it does work. If you have any questions, drop them in the comment, and we'll get to them. Any concerns, drop them in the comments. We'll get to them. But with that, we're all set with all done with the video. Thanks for watching. Consider subscribing if you want to join us. We'd love to have you. Hit the like button. That'd be awesome. And signing off for now. Goodbye, everybody.